Hi, this is Onna, and this is Check It at the Round Table, where we discuss movies, books, music, and stuff. Today, we are discussing My School President, the Thai BL drama series. For those of you who do not know, this is available on GMM TV. It's also available through the Rick Orange channel on YouTube, both on YouTube, sorry, GMM TV too, but Rick Orange has arranged a playlist, which is very helpful, just saying. This series aired about in the last month it finished, and I actually have finished the entire series. I'm like, wow, my life has been chaotic for the last few months, and I finally sit down, and my best friend, bless his heart, he said, Anna, have you watched any Thai dramas lately? And I'm like, no, that could be adding to my chaos. So this month I watched My School President. I watched Star in Your Heart, I believe, Club Kun and Dao Noah. So anyway, I have gotten some of my Thai dramas caught up, and also the Korean drama, which I cannot think of the name. I will do a podcast on it later. But anyway, it was not that eventful, but it was okay. But it was a Korean BL, and I don't really need to say more on that subject for my opinion. But anyway, so My School President. This is the story of Tin and Gun. There's also a bit of sound and wind, which we will discuss later. But Tin and Gun. Tin is the vice principal, then principal's son. He does everything perfectly well. He is well organized. He is an A+ student. He is like the ideal son that most mothers wish they had. And then we have Gun. And Gun is like terrible student. He doesn't do well at anything but music, and not really good at that either because he's not dedicated. And he just likes hanging out in the music club and eating barbecue pork, what they're not supposed to do at the music club. But anyway, Gun's club is going to be canceled because the vice principal, Tin's mother, becomes the principal and says that all clubs that are not pulling their own weight are going to be disbanded because they're costing the school too much. So Tin, who has had a crush on Gun for the last 2 years, has decided he will become a school president to help mitigate this issue and save Gun's club, and therefore get to know Gun better, and maybe sparks will eventually fly. Although for Gun and Tin, this is very difficult because Tin is not good at saying what his feelings are. Let's just put it that way. But thankfully, he has Tu as his friend. And I just want to say, Tu is my favorite character in the series. I mean, I love parts of Gun and Tin. Don't get me wrong. I'm like, my wish as an adult is that someday, if I'm lucky and I do things right with my kids, they will end up like Tin and Gun. Maybe not as chaotic as Gun, but anyway, and maybe not as reserved as Tin, but somewhere in the middle, because those are such good kids. But the one that I really want to give a shout out to is Tu. It's like someone on YouTube said, Tu, the man, the myth, the legend. When does he have time for anything? Because he's always helping Tin with the music club, with tutoring the students, with you name it, Tu's there. But anyway, Tin starts to save Gun's music club. He finds instruments they can use. He gets them a gig at a bar that's closing. He makes sure that they have what they need to keep the club going. He even talks his mother into letting them stay late at the club to practice overnight sometimes. So he does all these things, and he gets them a concert, a religious festival that they win, which gives them perks at school. So Tin is doing all this to try to save Gun's club. Gun, on the other hand, is sitting there going, Tin likes somebody in this club, or he wouldn't be doing all this for the club. Now, who does he like? Gun is not the sharpest tool in the shed. I mean, he has many good qualities, and he has many bad qualities, and he has middling qualities. I think Gun's best quality is that he really is so open-hearted about everything. You never have to wonder. He has no reserve, and he just is unequivocally Gun. I mean, whatever the situation, as bad or good as that may be. And also, Ben has an amazing mom who is just fabulous. I mean, really. Now, the one thing I don't like about his mother is she doesn't really help her son with. Gunn lost his dad when he was younger, and he is terrified of losing people or living alone. I think that's the saddest thing about this whole series is the fact that Gunn is so frightened about that situation, because I think for me and the people I love, I never want them to feel, I know that if I would pass away at some point or leave the planet and go on to another reality, that would be hard for the people I care about. But I would hope that I will have given them the tools and the ability to look past that difficulty and to go, I know what I need to do. And it's very clear. And Onna wouldn't want me being sad or depressed or sitting there frightened about being alone, because that's not what I want my kids to ever do or the people I care about to ever do. So anyway, Gunn is really frightened about being alone, and he's also really frightened about not being successful in music. There's a very poignant scene where Gunn goes to GMMTV for a tryout, and he fails, even though he did perfectly well. And he and Tin are walking back home, and he collapses when this motorbike almost hits him, and Tin pulls him, and he's totally freaked out because he just lost the music opportunity. He almost got hit by a car or motorbike like his dad got killed. And he's literally bawling, and Tim's like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. But anyway, Gunn has a lot of emotional trauma related to his dad being gone and the fear of losing his mom. This is not enhanced by the fact that Gunn's mom collapses quite frequently in the drama from migraines, which you find out are from a brain tumor that she has to go get operated on. And Gunn is again then frightened that he's going to lose his mom. In the middle of all that, Gunn's mom meets Tin because Tin offers to come help at the ice shop so that Gunn can go practice music. And she basically pries till Tin tells her that he's liked Gunn for 2 years and that he saved the music, or he became school president to save the music club. Well, she asked Tin not to tell Gunn that she has this tumor they have to operate on because Hot Wave is coming up, the music festival contest that they hope to win. And once they win it, Gunn can, if he wants, date Tin. Until then, no dating is allowed. Although it's very funny because pretty much everyone in the band is dating someone. They just don't call it dating. They call it talking stage. I find this intriguing. I'm like, yeah. Anyway, so one of the bandmates is dating a girl he met on Tinder, which I didn't even think high schoolers could be on Tinder. I was like, that's kind of weird to think about. I've never been on Tinder, so I have no idea. That was one I just stayed clear away from because I found it so scary. But anyway, so he met a girl on Tinder who's a bit, but he's a bit too, so maybe they all balance out. He put his poster up as Tin on Tinder because he didn't want the bandmates knowing he was on Tinder. She comes to the bandmate and Tin's school and gives Tin brownies, and he's sitting there going, I don't know this woman. She's calling me by someone else's name, and how do I tell her these brownies you made are not for me? Anyway, Gunn sees the girl giving Tin brownies, and he gets upset at Tin. And they're supposed to do a Romeo. Let's see here. They're supposed to do a Romeo and Juliet play, and as they're doing the play rehearsal, Gunn is like, Romeo, why are you such a jerk? And Tin's going, I don't think those are the lines for Romeo and Juliet. And he says, well, those are the lines I want to do. And he says, did something happen, Gunn? Are you upset about something? He goes, I don't know, maybe those brownies that you took from that girl, that made me a little upset. And he's like, I don't know who that girl was. I don't even know why she gave me brownies. She said she thought I was in your music club, and she gave me these brownies for someone else. So they find out that the other kid's on Tinder. The other two, the guitarist and the bass guitarist, have this really weird love-hate relationship, but I think they make a good couple, so it all works out. But anyway, everyone's dating in the club, but they just can't say they're dating till they finish Hot Wave, except for the lonely piano player who two likes and the lonely drummer who everyone leaves behind. I feel bad for the drummer, but he'll be okay. He's going to be a pharmacist. It'll be great. So anyway, maybe he will meet someone who comes in for her medications or his medication. Who knows? So anyway, you have the bandmates getting ready for Hot Wave. You have Tin trying not to tell Gunn that his mother is going into surgery here in about a week, and Gunn finds out, completely unloads on Tin at the hospital. Then Gunn's mom says, Gunn, maybe you shouldn't get mad at him because I told him not to tell you. And the reason is because I know I can trust Tin and he's a very nice person and you should not lose someone like that so easily. So anyway, they work out their issue at the hospital. Gunn's mom goes in for surgery, goes well. Gunn and his band go and perform at Hot Wave. They do not win the contest. They're all depressed about it for a while. They all blame each other for a while. I'm like, why is it when people lose, they either lose well or they lose and act like toddlers? But anyway, I think, they all did like toddlers. But at the end of the day, Gunn tells everyone when they're at the temple giving their offering to thank I think it was the Buddha, for everything they wish for, they did get, even though they didn't win the contest. And there's a really cute scene because Gunn is like, I didn't ask to win the contest. I only asked that everything would turn out in such a way that we would not regret having been in the club. And then Tin is asked what he wished for. He's like, I just wish for whatever Gunn wished for to come true. That's all I wished for. So anyway, we then get to the end of the episodes. We're in episode, I think it's 12. At this point, Tin and Gunn are dating. Tin has not told his mother because she is vice principal, and he is afraid that if he tells his mom that he likes Gunn, who is kind of like the black sheep of the school, in addition to being a guy, it will not go well for her at the school, and it will not go well for Tin at home. So he just hasn't told his mom. Now, his mom has known for several weeks that Tin likes Gunn, but she's waiting for Tin to tell her that she likes Gunn, that he likes Gunn. But at the end of the day, now Gunn did tell his mom when she was in the hospital recovering, he said, I just wanted to tell you that I know you know, but I am dating Gunn and he's very nice and kind and helped me a lot through this time. And I want you to know, though, so that it's not a big surprise. And she's like, I don't care. Give me a hug. I don't care who you date as long as you're happy and they're happy and whatever. I'm like, there we go. The Mom of the Year award goes to, But anyway, now Tin's mom, on the other hand, is not that way. She's sitting there crying on the sofa with her husband into a pillow, saying that, everyone's going to treat your son badly. It's not going to go well. It's Gunn. You name it, she's thinking it. Now, I think this is kind of weird because it seems to me like in the dramas, when people's sons come out or daughters come out, they're either upset because they're worried the quality of life of their child is going to be bad, or they're worried that everyone's going to be judging them because their child is coming out. I don't really understand this, and maybe it's because of the way my brain works, but I'm like, I know enough about life to know that life is probably going to be hard for our kids, no matter how easy we try to make it. So sitting there going, I want my child to have an easy life is not going to be possible given the world that we live in. There are going to be trials. There are going to be battles to be fought. There are going to be some big bumps along the road. And I think that the best way to deal with that is just say, we're going to have those bumps. But to me, the main thing is, and the crucial point is that the most important thing is that you raise your children so that they are kind, compassionate, good humanoids, and that they hopefully end up with people who support and help them through those battles in the same way that they support and help that person through their battles. And whoever that person may be is the person they're supposed to be with. So I'm like, I really don't understand the mental gyrations of the parents in these dramas. And maybe it's just because I'm sitting there going, it's probably going to be a bloody difficult time no matter how we look at it. And they might as well be with someone who understands and is empathetic and kind and nice and helps them with battles too. So anyway, I'm like, regardless of their gender. So anyway, but Tin's mother is stressed out. At the end of the day, some photos were leaked of Gunn and Tin at a park riding a bicycle and just playing around. They weren't doing anything bad at all. But someone put, oh, they're together. And then she gets a bunch of messages in her inbox saying, your son is with Gunn. Oh, no. And so at the end of the day, she's trying to do with that. Tin is trying to do with the fact that he's getting yelled at as school president by another classmate who thinks that he shouldn't like Gunn and be school president. And Gunn is sitting there dealing with the fact that one of his teachers said that he shouldn't basically be a musician because he's gay and that's not manly. And I'm like, what does that have to do with the price of eggs when it comes to logic? I mean, no offense, it's like some things I sit there and I go, I can kind of follow your logic somewhat, but on that one, I'm like, this has nothing to do with being manly or not manly or any of that. And it certainly doesn't have to do with being, what does being in a band have to do with being manly? I know many women who are in a band. I'm like, anyway, but we will proceed. So anyway, Gunn is trying to do with that. He ends up collapsing in a room, totally beside himself, trying to deal with this. And Gunn's there too. And the teacher who said these terrible things comes in to say, well, I didn't mean it bad. I was just telling my opinion. And Gunn is trying hard not to punch the teacher. Tin is trying hard not to punch the teacher. And the person in the back of the room who was yelling at Tin earlier for being school president and liking Gunn actually comes out and punches the teacher because he's had enough and he knows one of the three of them is going to punch, so it might as well be him, and he gets in trouble instead of Tin or Gunn. So anyway, they all end up in the principal's office. The teacher gives a fake speech on how he was not doing anything wrong. He shouldn't be being judged for this. They need to put at least one of them in probation. And Tin's mom looks at the boys and she says, was that everything that we need to talk about today about this boys? And Tin's like, well, if Kajorn had not hit Mr. So-and-so, I would have hit Mr. So-and-so, so you should punish me and not Kajorn, because that would be more fair. And she says, you know what? We're not going to punish anybody today. We're going to put Kajorn on probation. And Kajorn, if you ever have something like this happen again, do not punch someone. Just come to me and talk about it, because that's a much better way to deal with it than punching people. And Mr. So-and-so, I can only write you up and the school board can decide what to do with you, but this is enough. And so at the end of the day, the teacher, Kajorn, leave. Gunn and Tin are left with Tin's mom, and she's like, you know, I'm very sorry, Tin, you didn't feel comfortable telling me you like Gunn. And Gunn, I'm very sorry for you too, because it has put you in a very bad spot. And this is partly my fault, so I'm sorry. And I thought that was a very nice moment for Tin's mom, but I still do not like Tin's mother. So anyway, we then fast forward to prom night. Gunn and his band play a nice song. Although I don't think we should compare people to rocks and stars, because it means one is like dirt and one is shiny, which seems kind of a bit of not nice thing to say about people. But anyway, I like rocks. I'm getting one of those shirts with from between us about I like about 3 people and my rocks, because I do actually I like way more than 3 people, but I do like my rocks a lot too. I'm like, I totally sympathize with the sentiments in that shirt. But my point is most people do not look at rocks as a thing of beauty. I find them quite lovely, and stars are shiny. So I'm like, why is Gunn comparing himself to a clog of dirt and Tin to a star? Because Tin is very nice, but so is Gunn, and I don't think we should have equality here, not I'm so bad, you're so good kind of thing. But anyway, So we have prom night. At the end of the movie, we have a delightful scene in which Gunn comes to Tin's house for dinner. Tin's father has made a wonderful meal because he cannot write his next best-selling novel, and so he cooks, and Tin says, I think he should just open a restaurant because this is what he does to de-stress. And he's cooking so much food. And he also, I love Tin's dad because Tin's dad is always cooking at home, and he's always kind of calming down Tin's mom. Because like when everything blew up and she's worried about Tin, he's like, the world is maybe not going to get our son, nor get who he cares about. But at the end of the day, let's be the people that we wish the world were, because that's what we need to do. And I'm like, my man. Anyway, but I'm just saying, I like Tin's dad. I also love the fact that he bought a very expensive acoustic electric guitar and is hiding it in a bookshelf. Then he buys another one because he gives the one to Tin to hide. So anyway, it's bloody hilarious. But anyway, he and Tin and Gunn, Tin's dad and Tin's mom, all sit down for dinner. Gunn gives Tin's mom some custard bread and custard sauce that was from his mom's ice shop. And he also tries to call her mom because he thinks that would be nice. She said, let's just start with it. I'm like, why can't he call you mom? Why put up a wall when you could break down the wall? I mean, I'm just saying. Anyway, that's Tin's mom in a nutshell. But I'm like, let me never be like that. Let me always try to never put up walls, but break them down unless they need to be there, which is hard for me because I'm a good wall builder on certain things. I had something up there. I was like, okay, Onna, you need to put down the wall. Put down the wall. It was for a good reason, though. I have to say, I'm like, it was about prejudice. I'm like, I don't like prejudice, but put down the wall. Put down the wall. This is not you. This is not your battle. Just let it go. Someone else for their journey. Okay, I'm just saying. But anyway, I'm like, the thing is Tin and Gunn and Tin's mom and dad having dinner together. At the end of the dinner, they're sitting there in the living room, or standing there in the living room, and it's pouring rain outside. And Tin is like, how are you going to get home, Mr. Gunn? And he's like, please just let me go home. I feel like I'm in the principal's office right now. Your mom's looking at me weird. Your dad's being nice, but kind of goofy. And I just want to go home. And then the lights go off. And Tin's dad is showing his acoustic guitar to Gunn. And Gunn's like, that is a freaking expensive guitar. And he's like, this was a gift from my publisher for my work. It was free. They gave it to me for my efforts. And Tin's mom is sitting there going, yeah, that's I'm sure how he got that guitar. But anyway, so the lights go out and Tin's dad says, it is pouring rain outside. The electricity is iffy. Why don't we just let Gunn spend the night here instead of having to go all the way back home to his mom's house? And Tin is like, that would be nice idea. Sleepover with Gunn. That would be wonderful. I've been dreaming of that. I'm like, brushing teeth together and snuggly. I'm like, yeah, it'll be a very wild night. But anyway, so Tin's mother looks up and goes, I have an extra blanket. I'm like, why do they need extra blankets? There's blankets in Tin's room. At least I'm going, what kind of family does not have extra blankets in the bedroom already? I'm like, this is kind of weird. But anyway, she gets the extra blanket. The next scene, Gunn and Tin are flopped out on bed, and it's like, how did coming over to eat dinner at your house make me end up and have a sleepover tonight? And he's like, well, it just did. And before they end up there, though, Tin hugs his dad and goes, thank you so much. This is going to be lovely. And Tin says, like, yes, you're welcome, my son. But anyway, so at the end of the day, they have a sleepover, which involves Tin and Gunn having a WrestleFest and having a one romantic kiss, and that's kind of it. But I think this series overall, it's one of my favorites. I have seen there's several new BL series coming out this year, and to be honest, I haven't watched them in total, but I've been kind of unimpressed with them. Like, Never Let You Go. That one, I'm like, I'm probably going to watch it, but I'm just not very impressed with the the character development. I'm not trying to be bad at all. I think the actors do a great job. It's just the storyline. It's not really speaking to me that much. I will do another podcast on why. Then we had Moonlight Chicken, which Lemming and Hart, great characters. The rest of it, sleep. And then we had, trying to think of what others. I'm currently watching Boss and Babe, which is again Veep. And there are some Korean dramas like My Dating Sim and Cry on Your Shoulder, I think. And those again, I'm watching clips of it. I'm like, I'm just not thinking they're that great. But this one, even though it's a high school drama, I'm not really into high school dramas, but I really do like the character development of Gun and Tim. I love how Tin is just so focused on being there for Gun. Even if he doesn't end up with Gun, it's like there's this wonderful scene at the end or near the end episodes where Tin is like, I know you didn't win the contest, which that means if you can't date me now, we can date in college. And if we can't date in college, then we can date when you graduate. It's okay. I will wait. Like, that is Tin in a nutshell. And in a similar way, I love that even though Gun was not that way when he started out with Tin, you can see how he gradually changes and becomes a very thoughtful person who also is able to play and laugh at and with Tin in a way that's very healthy, and it makes them a really good couple to watch. So I really like those aspects because I think in many ways Tin is like the positive attributes of his mom, and Gun is kind of like the positive attributes of Tin's dad. And they really do balance each other out in a similar way to the way Tin's parents do. I also really like how Gun's mother just loves Gun. Gun does not have to do well at school. Gun does not have to do well at music. She just loves him because he's Gun and he's her son, and that's all she needs to know. And I think that in a day and age when, well, any day and age, and like most children grow up knowing they are loved, yes, but they are loved with caveats. They are loved with all these things that must be checked off, as it were. And it's so nice to see a show where a mom just loves her kid for being her kid. I'm like, he doesn't have to do anything. He can just sit there and she goes, oh, that's my boy. I love him so much. So I'm like, that I really like. I also like Sound and Wind in this series, mainly because there were two things I thought were interesting with their characters. Number one, I really liked, I'm sorry, I'm in a humid place and it's making my face super itchy because of allergies. So I'm scratching on occasion. But anyway, I really like how with Sound and Win, Sound really likes Win. Win is unsure if he likes Sound, and it sounds like, and he's like, but you know what? I'm going to give this a chance because you're a nice person, and it's not that I don't like you. I just don't know if I like you. And I really liked the brutal honesty of Sound and Win because I'm like, in modern dating society, everyone's like, oh, I love this person loves me. I'm like, how in the heck do you know you love that person? How in the heck does that person know you love them? You have to build up a camaraderie. You have to build up an understanding. And for some people, like Win, that's going to take time. And I also liked how with Sound, he's like, I don't want a fluffy, romance, roses petal kind of love. I want the hard love, the one that's not easy to obtain, because that is worth it more to me than the love that would be easy. And I thought, that's kind of an interesting way to look at it. It's like most people think, oh, love should be smooth sailing. Love should be simple and not difficult. I'm like, I don't think that's the way it works. I don't know from experience, but I'm just sitting there going, from the outside looking in, it looks like it takes a heck of a lot of commitment. And for sitting there on days when you might just want to throw the other purdy slippers out the window, going, I will refrain from doing so. But anyway, I don't know. I'm thinking most people have those slipper days. I'm just saying, maybe not. Maybe no one has those slipper days. Maybe they're only in the movies. But check it at the round table. Bye.